If it's gonna be that kind of party, etc., etc., mashed potatoes! Woo!
Okay, morning. So, as we sit right now, I think I have someone coming tomorrow to just give me a hand picking this up and throwing this body on here. I could probably devise some manner of contraption with which to hoist it and then place it on yonder table, but if I had a buddy come over, we could probably just pick, between 3 people, just pick it up on the corners and in about 40 seconds. So we're gonna do that, but before we do that, a couple things I have to do. Again, can't get there from here. This rear panel, you guys remember, is smashed. So we got to get that out. I'd like to get that out now before it ends up here and I can't access it or reach it to get underneath it or whatever else. So I'd like to do that, and I also need to bolt the firewall in its flipped around orientation to give that a little, just so it's not such a wiggly noodle. This rear panel, dad noises. This thing is really thick. I'll show you once I get it out, but I think it's just got 5 rivets. It's got 1, 2 here, and then there's a couple on the inside here. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2 here. There's a couple of rivets on each side. Sorry, and you can't see that at all. There's a couple of bolts, couple of rivets. The outer skin folds underneath and kind of captures it, but I think then there's some screws, there's some nuts and bolts there, and there's some nuts and bolts, same on this side. There's one little bit of weld where someone fixed it on the farm at some point, but I'd like to get that whole situation just right out of there if I can. We'll end up later cutting those corners out to refit, but I think this whole rear section may end up being like a diffuser type thing. I think that might be kind of cool. It's gonna have a flat bottom, I think, because everything's so tucked up inside it. I think it can have a totally flat bottom, so I think it'd be nice to have a little diffuser there. Just kind of straighten out the air from underneath it. I don't know, but we're gonna do that. Okey dokey, got it. Not gonna say it wasn't a colossal pain in the whatever, but we got it. There were 2 rivets down here in these corners that I couldn't see because they were obviously buried. That corner got a little smashed, and that's kind of sad. But these things happen. It's not like we didn't need to fix a bunch of shit down here anyway. But I couldn't see these, and I couldn't get to them. I think this is one of those situations where the body was put together around, so I had to just kind of pry these loose and get under there with a Sawzall or with the cutoff wheel and cut those off. But I got them, and this whole thing, like, look how much. This is gonna be hard for me to show you with this camera. Like, that hung out there a lot. That was inches of bend in that thing. So that's cool to get that out of there. Now we gotta do-si-do it and then bolt that firewall in. So we're ready for homie to come by tomorrow and give me a hand yeeting this thing up on this table. Make that happen, I think. You guys, I know I should go get the other camera, but I just can't be asked to. Look at how cool that looks as I trip over the torque tube. Look at this! Ha ha! Woo! Dude came through and you saw that. We just picked this thing up and hooked it up there, and it's just sitting up there. Sorry about the door. I'm not sorry about the door. I'm sorry that's a little contrasty with the light, but look at it. Look at it. What's not to love? Okie dokie. So I took the centerpiece of the prop shaft over to the drive shaft store today so they could look at it. It's inside. I got to bring it back out. We're good to go on that, which means we need a measurement as to how much we need to take out of that whole shooting match there, which means we need to know where our firewall is in relation to our rear axle location, which means this needs to be put where it needs to be. That needs to be put where that needs to be. Those seats just make me smile. This needs to be put where this needs to be, so I know how much to take out of that over there. However, I know we spent not a lot of time, but I spent a few minutes turning that firewall around for clearance, and I don't think I like it. So let me tell you why. Sorry, I keep losing you there with the glare outside. Yes, we buy a lot of space for our engine. Goodness, the glare. Sorry. Yes, we buy a lot of space for our engine, but I lose all my footroom over here. And I'm a tall drink of water. I gotta stretch my shit out. So I either need to leave this way where it clears our motor and then remake my foot box over here. I think I need to remake my foot box over on the passenger side too, because we obviously lost a bunch there also. Plus I need to cut the entire center out for the torque tube anyway. So it's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I guess. It's leave the firewall that way and build everything out, or spin it back around and sort of cut the center section out and recess that back a little bit, which I honestly think would look cooler. And it's significantly less altering of every other piece of sheet metal. So I think we get a better result for less work, and who doesn't love that? In the industry, we call that a twofer. Okay, so I think, I'm not sure where we finished off last time. I did stretch a tape measure from the face of the transaxle there to the backside of this situation, and I had sort of guesstimated that was going to need to be shortened by about 6 inches. This whole shooting match by about 6 inches, and set up in there as it is, it's exactly 6 inches. So that's kind of super perfect. We just got to now figure out how to lose 6 inches out of this whole stupid thing. Okay, so confession time. When I first started planning this project and realized that the wheelbases on the Model A and that C5 Corvette were within like an inch, I really thought I wasn't going to have to do this. I think I mentioned that before, but it has to do with where the bell housings land and whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is the end that goes into the clutch, and this is the end. This has a bearing on it that rides up in the front of the torque tube. God damn. Sorry about that. It's very bright outside and very not bright inside. Haha. So what I think I'm going to do, I want to take my space out of this side because this just nestles into the end of the tube and gets held in place with a snap ring. Meaning I think we might have a little bit more wiggle back here than up here to make mistakes. Ideally, I think what I should do probably would be to just cut this off, unbolt this, and take this whole cut situation to a machine shop, have them turn this down with a lathe, and just part this whole thing off with a parting tool. That would be the right way to do this. I know that, and I admit that. I hate having stuff out of my hands. It upsets me. I don't like depending on other people to do junk for me. So what I think I'm actually going to try to do first, that's still very much on the table, because that would be the right way, and I'm going to consider that. But that adds a considerable amount of time and expense and time, which isn't really important if you want to do it the right way. But anyhow, what I think I'm going to do first is take the die grinder with the big fat carbide wheel that's made big thick flutes just for aluminum, and try to smooth some of this down enough so I can at least scribe myself a line, because I want to make sure this is lined up. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to take yonder persuader, put it onto this situation here, and see if we can unbolt this guy, because this is all going to need to be off for various reasons. So let's go there first, I guess. I don't like this part. I don't like this. Just want that to be said out loud. Don't like this part. Wish we didn't have to do this. Rather be doing something different. But here we are. Want to play Corvette pieces? You got to play with all the Corvette pieces, I guess. So write that down. Remember, if you want to do something dumb, this is these are things you really need to think about. So anyway, onward and downward. Oh, I did just want to mention I had to add a second clamp here because it was trying to walk off sideways on me, where it wasn't doing that on the other side because it was pushed up against here. But I mean, really, nothing exceeds like excess. Good times. Okay, surprisingly enough, that went really well. Oh God, almost fell over. I didn't intend to do that entire thing, but like it just came right off there in a peel. It was super nice how quickly that went. So we're gonna take this guy here. This is an 8-tooth per inch metal file. Just see if we can't kind of clean that up a little bit and smooth that down some. Usually you use this guy for like, you know, metal. It's a metal file. It's for filing metal. Anyway, it works a treat on aluminum because it's got to be these big chunks in it so it doesn't pack up real hard. I'm just going to try to kind of smooth this off this side to kind of take this all down to the same diameter. I'm hoping in an ideal world that like it just falls off the end. I don't think it's gonna, but we can hope. So we're gonna make that. We're gonna make some more of these incredibly sharp aluminum chips that just go freaking everywhere, and make some more of them and get some in my eyes. I don't think I have it in my eyes yet, so I haven't been trying hard enough, I guess. You know, I bet right now I'm the only guy in the world cutting the weld off a C5 prop shaft with an 8 TPI metal file. Setting records every day. Again, sorry, still batteries are still dead. This is kind of silly. Eventually, if I just keep sanding or filing at this, there will come a time when these two pieces just are no longer one. Yeah, I've just been taking that bevel down with that 8 TPI file. I'm about ready to run this around the outside with a Sawzall blade and just give it a tap and see what happens. But it's actually, I didn't plan on doing this way, but it seems to be working, so bully. All right, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I can see like a little parting line that I can catch my finger on. And if I turn this all the way around, everywhere I turn it, I can see that line. Okay, I might have gouged a little bit much out of this, but I think we can, I don't know, where we are, so. Okay, I am truly sorry that the other camera's dead and you have to deal with GoPro, but look at that! Ha ha! Look at that. You could Well, I mean, that's basically disappeared, right? Like I sanded that down to just about nothing. And it just like, it fell right out. So that whole thing just hammers in there like that. We'll just have to make sure we get that to get our run out down to 0 and have our young man just make sure he does a root and then a cap weld on that to make sure it's nice and tight. But I think, guys, we got it. That means we can do this. We can do this. That thing was up in the air, and I wasn't sure about that end, and if I was gonna be able to do it or not. And I did, and we're gonna be just fine. Okie dokie. So, by my math, we need to lose about 6 1/4 out of that prop shaft. That thing, the outside of the torque tube now. So, face of the, come on. Drag my extension cord along with me like some kind of funny joke. The face of the transaxle to the back side of the bell housing is like 48 on the nose. The outside to outside of yonder tube there is 54 1/4. So in order to make that 48, we got to take 6 1/4 out of it. I'm going to double check that a bunch of times because me and the maths don't always get along, but it looks like we need to lose 6 1/4. I originally said 6. I said 6 yesterday. I just double checked this now. 6 1/4 seems like it's gonna be right on the money. I'd also rather, if we have to err to one side or the other, I'd rather make it a bit shorter than longer because I have more room that way than I do this way, if you believe it. So, but 6 1/4 should land me right on the money. I can use the firewall as kind of a mid plate, which I'm sort of happy about, and everything's coming up Millhouse. Okay, so for better or for worse, we've got our tab cut. There's a little bit of my line left like I wanted. We got our deal cut. This guy doesn't want to slip fit in the end. It's gonna have to be driven in. But I want to put a little chamfer on that end, and that needs a tiny bit of cleaning up for welding and stuff. So I'm gonna run those inside and do them on the belt sander, because obviously that can't be out here where the rest of the tools are. So you guys just, I don't know, smoke them if you got them. Hang out a minute. I'll be right back after belt sanding. Yeah. Okay, sorry you guys had to deal with ASO vision that whole time. That was the only way I could actually make this work. Holy crap though, right? Wow, what a pain in the ass that was. So, got that down, I got all those closed out. I'm gonna check my length and see how square I can make it here. Whew, that sucked. I don't wanna have to do that again. So let's cross our fingers that we don't have to do that again, because if you didn't hear me the first time, that sucked. Okay, so hello again. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the hell. Got that back from the drive shaft store. Got that guy all welded up. It's a little boogery, more boogery than I'd like, but whatever, it's fine. I think it's gonna hold. I don't like that. Anyway, so now we need to get that piece rebolted to this situation, and then what I want to do is just give a quick measure from bearing face to the rear snap ring, and then compare that to the inner measurements on our tube to make sure we're still in the neighborhood. And then we have to tackle the big fun of shortening this guy. So bolt him back together, measure him, cut him, drop him off to be welded. That's the plan. I'm still in that point that I don't know if we're making progress or just like spinning wheels and making garbage, but hey, we're doing something and it feels like we're going forward, so that's cool. Okie dokie, easy cheese. We're back in business, I think. I hope we're back in business. So I'm gonna give this a quick measure. You can compare it to that guy over there, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so I've marked this now twice. I marked it once there, and then I decided that was a little bit close to this end. I wanted to have a little bit more. We're gonna clamp this in a really, we're gonna hold this back together in a really stupid way. So I wanted to have as much real estate up here to get a hold of as humanly possible. So 6 1/4, just like we took out of the other piece over there. Take it out of the front side because the back side is where the shifter sits. So I don't want to have to change shifter linkage locations and all that junk. So we're gonna take it out of the front here. I still don't know if we're doing good or doing terrible, but we're, God, we're doing something, guys. And I guess that's indeed something. So, yeah, as we get deeper and deeper into it, I'm losing like the, we're having fun screwing around, turning stuff into junk possibly. Like that's kind of being replaced by this sort of just slow creeping dread is kind of what's happening. So that's what's up. Hey, we're back. Okay, it's actually a whole different day. I had to go get some parts and whatever else before I chopped this. But we've got 4 feet of 1x? Yeah. 1x angle iron. I've got some very big hose clamps and several $100s worth of Corvette torque tube that's about to be turned into a multiple piece. Several $100s worth of Corvette torque tube. I've done 8.8 axles like this before and it's worked out fine. I don't know what the difference here would possibly be. These are a skosh longer. Whatever, I'm gonna continue on until I start feeling really uncomfortable, and then at that point, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I guess there's nothing to be done. The centerpiece is already cut, so there's nothing to do but cut this, shorten it, and just see if everything goes in there and lines up and feels like it's gonna work. I don't know what else to do. I can't even, cross your fingers for me because I can't manage it at the moment. Okay, got that first bit chopped. We're just gonna do more of that. I'm trying to keep you over here. It's hard to see because between the, maybe I can do it. Go around the corner. It does not like the difference between the bright light and the shade. The camera was really unhappy. Anyway, now it's doing, now it's fine. Yeah, that's one of two. One of two. What a day. Well, we've done it now. You can't unring that bell, that's for sure. Cool parts or scrap, I don't know yet, but we're doing something. Okey dokey. Excuse me, okey dokey. Went inside and did that on the belt sander real quick, just gave it a tiny little chamfer in there. I don't want to get too crazy with it. And we're just, man, one of these days. One of these days that's gonna work. Mark my word. Okay, so. Oh God. So that's that. That's how we're doing that, all right. Holy shit. Do I think this is the best idea? No. Is this the best thing I could have done with what I had in front of me? Also no. Do I think you should ever do any of your stuff like this? Nope. Is that gonna stop me? Also no. Holy crap. Oh, this is awful. Oops, I gotta undo that and fix that guy there. This is so silly. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think? Holy crap. I mean, honestly, that needs to be square to that face down there, and the best way I have to do that is to make sure the tubes are in line, because the tube was in line when before I cut it, in theory. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this so much. Yep, there it is. That's what we're doing. Crap. Okay, so I'm still a little hinky on this whole situation, but I should probably test fit that piece into here. That's the prop shaft, into its little house. Yeah, I might do that. I really am just mostly curious about putting it in the car and seeing what it looks like with the transaxle pushed back a little bit and with our bell housing, and see if it's gonna even come close to lining up, because honestly guys, I'm losing faith rapidly. But let's go ahead and just for fun, let's chuck this in that. And we'll see if it even comes close to fitting and doing what we need to do before I start anything else. Let's just do that. Yep, that's good there. I feel happy with that. That looks super nice right there. All the way through. We actually even bought ourselves the clutch line routing is going to be pretty simple. And we've even got room for our enormous tootsies. So this is making sense, guys. I was even able to pull, you can't quite see, both these seats back several inches because this whole situation went back several inches. So we gained a lot of space. We gained room down there, we gained room here, we gained all kinds of room. The back of the seats used to be up kind of flush, closer to flush. They were like this with the back window, and we gained a bunch. We gained a bunch. And any bit of room, any little room in this car we can gain is awesome because there's not an excess of it. So need to be aware of that as we're moving forward with all the shit we got to put in here, because we've got 3 pedals and all the roll cage stuff and everything else still needs to go down there. So this may end up, you know, your feet will be up here, but there'll be a roll cage in the way, so you got to be careful of what's happening. But anyway, we'll figure it out. And it'll be drive-by-wire, so we'll be able to kind of move that wherever. So we may end up being back here a little bit, little heel-toe-y action. I don't know, we'll see. Either way, it's not bad and I'm not upset with it. I don't normally like my feet like all the way out when I'm driving anyway. So we'll see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic, let's put it that way. Cautiously optimistic. Okay, we got our torque tube and our prop shaft back from the welder, and somebody's very excited about it. I mean, me too. Check this out, guys. Somebody did a really good job. How about it? You approve? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Like, just gorgeous stuff. Very good. So, what I would like to do now, that means we have that back. We can actually bolt this stuff together, even just loosely bolt it together, and put it in the car and see kind of how it's going to work, how it's going to line up, where we can put tubing, where we can't put tubing, where to start putting tubing. And we're still waiting on a bender die to show up, which is just annoying as all get out. But while we're waiting for that, we can put all this stuff together, make sure my firewall is going to work, etc., etc., and so on and so forth. But what I want to do before we do all of that is I would like to get rid of the stock exhaust manifold at the moment. Take that guy right off. I'd like to pull this intake off as well. I would like to get rid of, because that'll move our throttle body, the water neck back here. So, and the thermostat housing is down here under the intake, but the thermostat housing also connects that there. So that whole nonsense, I'd like to get that whole junk out of the way, so it's just, you know, the engine size. So that way we can see, you know, if our intercooler is gonna work, is gonna fit, is gonna whatever, if everything's gonna go where it needs to go, if it's gonna go under the hood. That's what I'm kind of concerned about. Because if we need to lift the body up, you know, if the hood missed it by, if it was this much too short, and we could lift that whole body up an inch just to make the hood flat, I would think I might do that now, because that might gain me a little more whatever everywhere too. So we can't answer all these questions until we have this bolted to this guy using this put in there. So we got some stuff to do. I'm going to start taking this junk apart